Welcome to MGN428, Creating New Ventures. I'm very excited to be having this opportunity to work with you during this semester. This is my first semester at QUT, so it's going to be my first experience working with you as a student cohort and getting a sense of how you may or may not differ from the students that I've interacted with in the past. Having said that, I work with students all around the globe. I work with educators all around the globe in this field. And so I'm very confident that whatever's going to unfold during the semester will actually be something that will be beneficial for you. That's the way that we've tried to design the unit. There are some limitations, I suppose you could argue, the way I might normally deliver a unit in this way. Having arrived at QUT only recently, we've run out of time, I suppose you could say, to sort of make some changes. But I think that's a really good thing, because what I'd like to do is I'd like to talk through what could be different forms of delivering this type of education with you yourself. So we'll have a fairly standard, I suspect, from your own QUT perspective, way of working through this material. And I'd also like to engage with you across the semester some conversations about how might this be rerun in second semester using some different methods. So, a little bit about me. My name is Colin Jones. I'm an enterprise educator. I've been doing this for about 14 years. In the background before that, I was an entrepreneur for many years. A lot of different companies in the finance area, home services area, education and machinery. So quite a varied range of different areas. And I'm more than happy to share my history with you, although you can just go along to my webpage where there's a Meet Cole page there, which will give you lots and lots of background. I also have a podcast show that you might be interested in listening to. It really does pick up on many of the themes that we might be talking about across the semester, so you may find that useful. So the links that I'll provide with this introductory video will much really pick up and help you on that. My background is in Tasmania, and so coming to Queensland has been very interesting for me. Already I can see so much more of a startup community surrounding the university, and so it's going to be interesting to see what experiences you've had and what you can share in the classroom and via the Blackboard platform. So it'll be very interesting to see what you've got to contribute. But let me give you a few basic things about how it is that I like to help people. As an educator, I don't like to spend too much time at the front of the class. In fact, maybe in that first class there'll be the introductions and this is where we're heading to. That might take 5-10 minutes and then I'm out of there. My aim, I know I'm succeeding when you're at the front of the class, when you're putting your ideas forward, even if you're in that distance education mode, when you're volunteering your ideas, when you're showing your initiative, when you're taking the chance that I'm giving you to fail. It's so important that you actually see that as an opportunity to learn and that you look at how the assessment in this unit has been designed to actually give you that breathing space. So not looking for you to be correct at every turn of the assessment process. We're actually looking for you to be able to experience something, step back and reflect on it. There's a lot of reflection that's required in this unit. And I'm not looking for descriptions of what you've done. I'm looking for you to tell me, how did it make you feel? What have you learnt from past experiences in this space? What made you uncomfortable? All of those different things. And we'll talk more about that. I'll provide you with more guidance on all the different actual areas of assessment. This introductory video is just to tell you a little bit about me, a little bit about the unit, and a little bit about the expectations I have of you in being engaged in the unit. So we've got 13 weeks, as is normal in a semester, and we most probably won't need to meet on all of those. We're just going to sort of see how that plays out. I suspect we might meet 9 or 10 times. But there'll be a few Wednesday nights when we most probably don't need to meet. And I just need to make sure you're off and running. You don't need to rely on me. I'm going to give you the frameworks, I'm going to give you the processes, and I want you to go off and engage in those. And then I want you to be able to come back and share with everybody how that process of engagement's gone. So whether you're seeing each other face to face or whether you're actually in a distance mode, it's not going to make any difference because you're going to be sharing what it actually is you've found. There's no competition here. Yes, there's going to be some groups, but that process of the group work, there's no competition. If everyone's doing their work to a standard where everybody can get the top mark, good on you. I'm proud of you, and I'm so glad that you got in and had a go. So given that's the case, help each other. There's a lot of social capital that will be in this particular cohort, outside of the classroom, inside the classroom. Share with people your ideas. If someone's working on an idea that you happen to have some understanding of or some other knowledge, some social human capital in that space, then volunteer it. Help the people in the classroom. Remember, there's no competition happening here. Everyone's entitled to get that top mark. So, let's just run back through this process. We're going to meet, and I'm going to provide guidance, especially obviously like this, for the people who are doing the unit in distance mode. And I want you to understand that the unit, I'm going to ask you to do just a few specific things. I want you to think of an idea, all right? That idea can be anything. It's not going to be, I'm thinking of doing a restaurant. I'm not looking for that sort of standardized idea. Something out there, something to do with technology, something to do with robotics, something to do with that cutting edge of where ideas are really starting to shape the community that you live in, right? I want you to push yourself. I want you to think about a big idea, something that takes you beyond the everyday normal thinking, all right? That's my challenge to you. Step up and actually put yourself in front of a big idea, something that you would be really excited to do. So that creates the first little area of tension. You're going to be in a group, and let's say that group's going to be like 4 or 5 people, right? So we've got to think through that process of how the group's going to be developed. And it's really important that you think about the things that you're passionate about. So I want you to think about things that you're passionate about, that you're interested in before you come along on that first night. Let's not start doing that in the first classroom. Start thinking about that as something that you actually want to be a part of, if there are other people in the room that might also be interested in that. I want you to then start working with people on what might be a big idea, what could be something that you could come up with. Now, I don't need you to do any research at this time. I just need you to think about how you think that technology, that process, whatever it may be, how that could be used to actually create some value. And how you think you'd go about capturing that value. How would you know you've captured that value? So that's this essence of this what we call a very basic business model, all right? So I'll talk to you more about that in week 1. Having done that, in week 4, you're going to come along and you're going to present to us. If you're working externally, create a little video, send that in, and we can be all watching that as well. I want to make sure that the people who are doing this externally don't feel like they're in an entirely separate class. I haven't fully got my head around the technology and how that all works, but you can be assured by the time we get to week 1 I will have worked that out. But I want to make sure that to the full extent that you want to be engaging with the people who are coming along to the class on a Wednesday night, that you can, all right? And to the extent that you're not able to, and then we can do it in another way, all right? I'm very flexible in the way that I approach what I'm doing. And I'll hopefully demonstrate that to you in the next couple of minutes. Having come up with your idea and pitched that idea, I'm not assessing the pitch in week 4, I'm just simply going to give you some feedback. And indeed, not just me, but we are going to be giving each other feedback, what we think makes sense, any holes, any question marks that remain there, okay? Then, for the rest of the semester, I want you to get out. Get out! Go out there and talk to real people. Find the problems that we've highlighted in week 4, and let's see if we can actually work our way through trying to actually work out what would have to change in order for your idea to progress. I don't believe it's possible for you in the space of a couple of weeks to come up with this really neat idea which doesn't require any further revisiting in terms of tweaking the business model and overcoming problems. That's the idea of the unit, is take some entrepreneurial passion in terms of an idea and get you out testing it in the real world. So not a theoretical testing process, but actually going off and talking to whoever you think that end user is going to be. So that's going to require you to develop for me over a period of time a report. Now the report can be done written. It could be you coming into my office and talking to me. It could be you putting it onto YouTube and sending it to me. It could be you surprising me and doing it in another way. The key here is that I am looking for you to demonstrate your understanding. There are a lot of different ways you can demonstrate your understanding. So there's already a challenge there in terms of you being creative and thinking about how you can communicate to me. All right? So there's a lot of flexibility in that space for you to work around. That also means there's a lot of flexibility for you to get to understand what talents are in your group. Maybe there are certain communication skills in your group that you can really take advantage of. Okay? So I'm looking for you in that report to show me your CPS, which is your customer problem solution, right? I'm looking for you to give me your ecosystem diagram, your risk tables, and to have done your research across the semester and then explain to me the nature of how that risk plays through and then the modifications to your business model that will be required. That's your report, okay? It's worth 20 marks, and you'll pitch this also to a group of investors, okay, in the last week. So entrepreneurs, people involved in the startup community. So you've got a chance to come along and try and impress them. That's worth another 20 marks. So that leaves 60 marks, and those 60 marks are going to be for you to complete 6 reflection statements. So these are not statements where I'm asking you to just tell me, well, we went off and did this and we did this. This is where I want you to be able to share with me as individuals how happy, confused, sad, angry, whatever it may be that you've been with the process that I've asked you to engage in. Not only that, I want you to think about what you've learnt. So this is an opportunity for you to demonstrate to me the thinking about your thinking. So we're talking about metacognition skills, all right? And so the first one's very simple. I want you to sit back, and over the first couple of weeks, I want you to think about your ability to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to give you some little videos that I want you to watch, and I'll give you something stimulating, I hope, in that first workshop where I'll ask you to watch through a few little videos with me. And I want to be provocative, and I want to challenge you in terms of what it might be that's required to be entrepreneurial. Okay? And so I want you to reflect on that, and we'll talk more about that process shortly. I also am going to introduce you to an environmental interaction framework. This is something that I've developed over many years that I use with people all around the globe. And so I want you to have an opportunity to run your idea through that process. I want you to think about you as an individual. Is it something, the 13 questions that are generated, are these the normal questions that you would ask? And if so, how does it make you feel that I'm showing them to you again? Are they new questions that you've never really asked, and therefore what does that add to it? So again, there's another topic. The process of lean startup will give you a topic on that. Being able to develop a strategy and being creative. Pitching, that's getting towards the end of the semester, and then your opportunity to overall reflect on what you've learned across the semester. So I want you guys to have fun, all right? I don't tend to engage in any educational process that isn't fun. So I'm trying to find a way to let your energy run through the process. I don't want you to come into the unit and think, oh, right, I think this guy might know what he's talking about. Let me sit back and see what I can learn from him. Don't do that. Don't do that. There might be something that I can help you with. I'm looking to learn from you. And more importantly, I'm looking for you to learn from this person and this person and this person and this person. So I want you to bring your voices along. I want you to bring your energies along. I want you to bring your excitement along, right? I want it to be a noisy room that we're actually having this conversation in. And if you're not in the room and you're doing this by distance, I want you to make the effort to put your noise in. That could be you're sending me in little video clips that you want played to the rest of the class. It could be you're hooking up in real time via Skype. Maybe you're sending tweets through as we're doing things. I don't really mind what we're doing, all right? Let's just see how it's going to work. I don't normally deliver a class in this way, so it's a bit foreign to me. and I'm looking for you guys to try and help me to try and make sense of how we would actually do it. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Make sure you've watched through the videos that I've put onto Blackboard for you before you come along or are in that space to be thinking about starting the unit if you're external. I want to challenge you with those videos. I want you to start that sort of process of thinking to yourself, am I entrepreneurial? Okay, and we're going to talk more about that. All right, but until then, enjoy your engagement with those materials. Bring along your energy, and I can't wait to meet you. Cheerio.